parents' source of income. I saw the building she lived in. I wanted to go up to her apartment, but I couldn't. Her rent was almost $400 a month. What does that suggest to you? That some man was paying her rent. She shared that apartment with the Vanderpool boy, the boy who killed her. He worked for an antiques importer. He earned something in the neighborhood of $125 a week. If a man were keeping her as his mistress, he wouldn't have let her have Vanderpool as a roommate, would he? He drew a breath. I guess it must be fairly obvious that she was a prostitute. The police didn't tell me that in so many words. They were tactful. The newspapers were somewhat less tactful. They usually are. And the case was the kind the newspapers like to play with. The girl was attractive, the murder took place in the village, and there was a nice core of sex to it. And they had picked up Richard Vanderpool running in the streets with her blood all over him. No city editor worth a damn would let that one slide past him. He said, "Scudder, do you see why the case isn't closed for me?" "I guess I do." I made myself look deep into his dark eyes. "The murder was a door starting to open for you. Now you have to know what's inside the room. Then you do understand." I did, and wished I didn't. I had not wanted the job. I work as infrequently as I can. I had no present need to work. I don't need much money. My room rent is cheap. My day-to-day expenses low enough. Besides, I had no reason to dislike this man. I have always felt more comfortable taking money from men I dislike. Lieutenant Kohler didn't understand what I wanted. I'm sure he only gave me your name as a polite way of getting rid of me. That wasn't all there was to it, but I let it pass. But I really need to know these things. Who was she? Who did Wendy turn into? And why would anyone want to kill her? Why did anyone want to kill anybody? The act of murder is performed 4 or 5 times a day in New York. One hot week last summer, the count ran to 53. People killed their friends, their relatives, their lovers. A man on Long Island demonstrated karate to his older children by chopping his 2-year-old daughter to death. Why did people do these things? Cain said he wasn't Abel's keeper. Are those the only choices? Keeper or killer? "Will you work for me, Scudder?" He managed a small smile. "I'll rephrase that. Will you do me a favor? And it would be a favor." I wonder if that's true. How do you mean? That open door. There might be things in that room you won't want to look at. I know that. And that's why you have to. That's right. I finished my coffee. I put the cup down and took a deep breath. "Yeah," I said. "I'll give it a shot." He settled into his chair, took out a pack of cigarettes, and lit one. It was his first since he'd walked in. Some people reach for a cigarette when they're tense, others when the tension passes. He was looser now, and looked as though he felt he had accomplished something. I had a new cup of coffee in front of me and a couple of pages filled in my notebook. Hannaford was still working on the same drink. He had told me a lot of things I would never need to know about his daughter. But any of the things he said might turn out to matter, and there was no way to guess which it might be. I'd learned long ago to listen to everything a man had to say. So I learned that Wendy was an only child, that she had done well in high school, that she had been popular with her classmates, but had not dated much. I was getting a picture of a girl not sharply defined, but a picture that would eventually have to find a way of blending with the one of a slashed-up whore in a village apartment. The picture started to blur when she went away to college in Indiana. That was evidently when they began to lose her. She majored in English, minored in government. A couple of months before she was due to graduate, she packed a suitcase and disappeared. The school got in touch with us. I was very worried.